The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me just say, after video distorting the belt, they're proclaiming the real world champion. I'm going to tell y'all, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life. When you walk around this world and you tell everybody you're number one, the only way you get to stay number one is to be number one.
Woo! Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network, powered up by the Belly Up Sports Network of podcasts. Sit back and enjoy as we bring you the latest and greatest in the world of sports, everything from the Detroit Lions to the state of Michigan sports to around the country and around the world. So what are you waiting for? Let's get out there and let's watch the latest edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And good evening, everybody. Welcome again to another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are live on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe to our channel as we've got all of our shows that we do, including the Captain Lou Extravaganza and the ACHA Power Play. We had a great show last night with some wonderful guests. A lot of great conversations, some banter back and forth. I invite you to check that out. Subscribe to our network there, the Captain Lou Sports Network. And also we've got some games that we've done on there, so a little bit of everything. We're powered up by the Belly Up Network of podcasts. Check us out at bellyupsports.com. We've got such a great lineup of podcasts. The articles that are very well written by our staff at Belly Up Sports. It's a treat, humbled, thrilled to be a part of Belly Up Sports, and they give us our platform here on the Captain Lou Sports Network, and we couldn't be happier to be a part of it. So again, want to thank everybody for coming on the show or coming and being a part of the show tonight. Super Bowl 57, the big game 57. It's coming up real soon, and really looking forward to that game. It's going to be a toss-up for sure. As I don't know who's going to win. It's a coin flip. I'll give you my pick real quick here, probably towards the middle of the show. Want to say hi to Comicus Frank Camilla taking time out to watch us up in Boyne City area. Hope you guys aren't getting hit too hard by the snow, big fella. But thanks for taking time out to watch us, Frank. Watch us tonight, Frank. Appreciate it. You look at the game coming up on Sunday, and you got both quarterbacks. Obviously, it's going to be tough to bet against Patrick Mahomes. He showed against Cincinnati, even at 80% or 85%, he's probably better than 28 or 29 of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now. We're going to find out real soon on Sunday, probably in the first quarter, how well he's going to do. Is he going to have the mobility? Are they going to be limited? He's not going to have Mecole Hardman. He's going to be out. He's on injured reserve. Kadarius Toney is questionable. Everybody's dinged up. Jalen Hurts, he's dinged up as well, that shoulder. The thing with Philadelphia, how much have they been tested? You look at who they played. What quarterback can you name in the last couple of months that really has given them a challenge? I mean, you look at last week or 2 weeks ago, Brock Purdy got knocked out early. So they had Josh Johnson, fourth string quarterback. And before that, you had Daniel Jones. They made him, he was like a deer in the headlights. He wasn't much. So they really didn't have a whole lot to choose from. And they haven't played against anybody really on the offensive side of the ball. So this is going to be a test for Philadelphia. Their defense, it's highly touted. And, justifiably so. They've made these offenses look pedestrian, but now they're going up against Patrick Mahomes again, who has been there. This will be his third Super Bowl already. Third one, and he's 25 years old. He's not even in his prime yet. And it's just, I think there's going to be some fireworks on Sunday night. You've got these two teams, Chandler Jones and company. Are they going to be able to neutralize Jalen Hurts? Oh, maybe if I spelt it right, we'll see. That's the magic of live radio here. Let's see if we can't do that real quick. While we're doing that, again, want to remind you that if you got any comments or anything, you can leave them right here on the show, just like Frank did, or you can drop us an email, sweetlou1965@yahoo.com, or follow us on Twitter @TheRealCaptainLou, or on Facebook, my personal page, Lewis Gamlin, or the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page. So as we tell you every week, be a part of the show. We appreciate you taking time out to watch us. That's the big thing. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. And so we appreciate that very much. Getting back to the game. Now, as I mentioned, as I get the spelling right on that, you look at Jalen Hurts. I think back to week number 1 when they played the Lions. And, we thought, okay, it was just the Lions. Everybody knows Detroit's defense is not much. And, but boy, he progressed this year. And I've sung his praises, as everybody knows, throughout the year. And, ever since he came in the NFL. To me, he's a very, very mature quarterback for his age. And he has been all the way up. He handled his business. He's not arrogant. He's cocky, but, there's a different kind. And he played well at Alabama, transferred to Oklahoma, played well enough there, in my opinion, to win a Heisman Trophy, got them to the playoff, and then he came to Philadelphia. And there's always been question marks about his arm strength, about his leadership, about, his durability, his athletic ability. And I think he quashed a lot of those this year. Now, again, he's got one of the best offensive lines in football. If not the best, it's got to be up there, in the top 2 or 3. But I'm not going to take anything away from him. And they've got their running attack. Miles Sanders played well, and of course they've got, AJ Brown, Devontae Jones, Dallas Goedert, you name it. Quez Watkins. There's a guy who doesn't get mentioned enough. Quez Watkins. Not bad for a 3rd or 4th option right there. So he's got the weapons. But and they did see a great defense in San Francisco. But, what about Chandler Jones? He's played well with Kansas City. He's having himself quite a preseason. And, again, I think that, I think he could be a difference. You look at these Super Bowls and you think, what fluke is going to happen to change the game? That's kind of what I'm wondering. You talk about maybe turnovers or injuries. God forbid there's injuries in the game. What's going to cause it? What's going to be the turning point? Is it going to be a pick six, fumble, whatever? It's weather. Obviously, is not going to be a factor because it's going to be indoors. So it really that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I don't know. These are games, you have a feel for it. You think, well, they're so much better than this team on paper, this and that. Sometimes you get a team that's a 6-point favorite, a 5-point favorite, touchdown favorite. This one is literally a toss-up right now. If you look at the lines, let's put them up there. Kansas City is a 1.5 underdog, -110. It's going to take $110 to make 100. Philadelphia is -110 as well as a 1.5 favorite. The most that it's only moved 0.5 point. Philly opened up a 1-point favorite. It's gone to 1.5. The money line, if you bet that, it's -105 for Kansas City and -120 for Philadelphia. So there's not a whole lot of difference there. And if you look at the over/under, if you think it's going to go over 51.5, which I kind of think it is, I know these defenses are good, but I just think that it's going to, I honestly think it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of a 31-27 game, 31-28. Throw a 2-pointer in there, maybe 32, something to that effect. I think there's going to be some points scored because these offenses are good. And, it's changed a little bit. I know the defenses are good, but both these offenses can put the points on the board. And you look at Philadelphia, they put 31 up on San Francisco. They're going to be able to score. Kansas City's got a good defense, but they're going to give some points up. That's why I kind of tend to go with the over. But if you do bet the under 51.5, it's minus 120. So the better money's going with the over. I honestly think there's going to be some points scored in this game. I think it could be a track meet. I really do. Patrick Mahomes, I think, is still going to throw for almost 300 yards. Jalen Hurts, again, can he be neutralized? He can hurt you both ways. And I think that he could have a combined 300-yard effort running and throwing. So I just honestly think there's going to be some points scored in this game. And I'll get to my 6-point teaser lock of the week or whatever, my parlay lock. Last one until next fall. We've had a lot of success. The AFC and NFC championship games, we were perfect. Made some big money on that weekend. After the divisional round games where I lost my shirt, I got my shirt back and then some. Now it's Super Bowl time. We got some prop bets. We'll talk about a couple of them that I kind of like. It's just a fun weekend altogether. I've never been to the Super Bowl ever. I'd like to go just for the pomp and circumstance. It's funny as my stepson is down there. He's working down there in Scottsdale, and it's got to be a madhouse. They've got the Waste Management Open for the PGA starting tomorrow, and we all know if you've watched golf, if you've never watched that golf tournament, check it out tomorrow and Sunday on the Golf Channel, where they have the 16th, I think it's the 16th hole or 17th hole, where it's stadium all around the par 3. So you've got that going on. You've got the Super Bowl in town. Man, it's got to be a madhouse down there right now. And so it's the place to be. I would like to go just for the festivities. Obviously it's a little out of my ballpark unless one of these years I win the Powerball and I can get tickets to go. But I'd love to be able to go to a Super Bowl game. Who knows? If our Detroit Lions win, get there, might have to break the bank. Might be worth working an extra year. Who knows? But anyways, getting back to reality, it's Kansas City and it's Philadelphia. And, you've got, like we talked about, the question marks for injuries right now. Kadarius Toney, he got hurt in the earlier rounds of the playoffs. He's questionable. He's going to try to make it a go. Mecole Hardman is not playing. He's on injured reserve. He's out. So Juju is questionable. You get to this time of year, everybody's dinged up. That's the thing. And you've got Philadelphia had some of their line injured earlier in the year. They're coming back. You've got 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And, it's by Wednesday, they're ready. Now they go into lockdown for the next 2 or 3 days. Now you won't see the players. They'll be, getting the last minute work done. A lot of it they do last week. They come out for the fluff for, today and yesterday and, on Monday. Now you get 72 hours in. It's interesting. I listened to Andy Reid talk on the radio last week. He said they get all the prep work done now, and then they get the 3 days to kind of get whatever it is out of their system. But by Thursday and Friday, they're ready to go. And I can't imagine, being a player, especially a first-time player, going to the Super Bowl and thinking, wow, and then you've got all this time to prepare. Where normally your routine is, you get Tuesdays off, you come in, you practice Wednesday, Thursday, light practice Friday, walk through on Saturday, you're ready to go. You got 2 weeks. And then you're prepared. And then boom, there you go. Wow. It's so the game is almost here. Again, we mentioned it's a 1.5 point favorite for Philadelphia. They beat their playoff run. Of course, they beat New York rather easily, 38-7, I believe it was. Obviously, they took care of San Francisco in the championship game. What they did to Brock Purdy, I mean, he got injured. They didn't do it to him on purpose, obviously, but they had a little bit of an easier trek. Kansas City had to go through Cincinnati and Jacksonville. That Cincinnati game, I mean, there was some bumps and whatever, but still was a fun game to watch. What an entertaining game, that AFC Championship game. And please, 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 enough of the ref bashing. They're going to make a mistake. It's bound to happen in this game. I just know it. Just can we please take a break from it? Cincinnati did not lose the game because of the referee's bad calls. They go both ways. And like I've said before, anybody who knows me knows I like to bait the refs with the best of them. But boy, it's just getting old. You see it time after time after time. Every game this year, it seems like the losers are blaming the referees. That excuse is old. Cincinnati, they could have tackled them. If they could have tackled Patrick Mahomes, it would have went to overtime. If you don't think that was a late hit out of bounds, you're crazy. They're going to call that on the quarterback. Cincinnati didn't make the plays with 2.5 minutes to go. They could have went down and used the clock up and kicked the field goal. So don't blame the referees on that game. Kansas City was the better team that day. They proved it. They deserve it. And just all I'm asking, if you're going to blame the refs, I don't want to hear about it. So I'm sorry. I'm done with that. So anyways, you're watching the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We are live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and please be a part of it. We've got some exciting things coming up. As we mentioned last night, we're going to take the show on the road to Boston for the 2023 ACHA National Tournament. We're going to have an extra show on the network each night during National Championship night, the ACHA Tonight, where we're going to review all the action. We're going to give you all the stories, interviews, you name it. Keep an eye out on my Twitter feed at Real Captain Lou and on my Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza, as we'll update you on that. And of course, as we mentioned, as always, we are brought to you, or we are powered up by the Belly Up Network of podcasts, Belly Up and Friends. Check out our complete list of podcasts and shows, video and audio, right on bellyupsports.com. And also a reminder that you can get, tomorrow we will have this downloaded on podcast form on iTunes and Spotify. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be there as well. Just look for the Captain Lou Extravaganza. We'll be on all the, we're on all the platforms. Like I said, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're there. And that's the beauty of Belly Up Sports. I want to thank Blaine and Mike and all the gang at Belly Up Sports for that opportunity. This has been amazing. And it's been a fun ride and can't wait to see what it brings us. Not only do we have the ACHA podcast or tournament that we're going to be live at, you wait till this fall. We're going to have some exciting stuff going on with all the other major sports. Really looking forward to it. Just keep tuned to the Captain Lou Extravaganza. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you'll be glad you did. That's all I'm going to say. Surprises are coming. Can't wait for it. Well, let's get back now to the Super Bowl again. We talked about, we brought you the lines. Kansas City, 1.5 favorite. Philadelphia, Philadelphia, 1.5 favorite. One of the things that we've done all year here on the show, we like to give you come up with some parlays where you can, if you're a betting person like I am, you might want to bump it up a little bit, give yourself some, make some fun with the game. Here are the parlays right now for the network or for the big game on Sunday. And you can see right here, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you take Kansas City and you get the 1.5 and you take the over, it's plus 275. That's probably the best combination. Well, obviously, that's the best payoff at plus 275. So if you bet $10, you're going to get 27.50 on top of that back. If you take Philly in the over, it's just a little bit less, at plus 265. If you go at the under, you're not going to get as good a payout at 255. And if you take Philly in the under, it's down to 250. Still, any way you shake it, that's not too BAD. You're going to get 2.5 to 1 for a minimum on your money. So I'm leaning towards taking Kansas City in the over on this one. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. I just can't do it. Until somebody beats him, until Jalen Hurts can show me he wins the big game, I got to go with Kansas City. And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is going to be, the limelight's going to be too much for him, but I think Mahomes has just got a little bit too much magic for them. I'm going with Kansas City on this one, and I'm probably going to go with the over. But I'm going to tell you where I'm going to put most of my hard-earned cashola, if you will, some of my fantasy football winnings that I had this year that I did really well in, is I'm going to go with my 6-point teaser parlay lock. And there we go. And you're still going to get plus money on this one. You can put it with a teaser, with a 6-point teaser, you can go either way. I'm going to add 6 points to Kansas City. So I'm going to get them a little over a touchdown, plus 7.5. And I'm going to go over 45.5. So I'm going to lower that over under down to 45.5. And I'm going to take the over. You can still get plus 105. So if you put a C note down, you get $105 back plus the 100. If you put a sawbuck, which is $10, you get $10.50 on top of that $10. That's where I'm going right there. That's what I think is going to be the best money. And I love that bet. With our teaser locks this year, our 6-point teaser parlay locks, we are 31-14 or 31-15 on the year. So we're going to make it 32-15. We're way ahead this year, which is good. And I'm going to toot my own horn. Yes, I know. But I know the money, and that's the thing. I've talked to people like, well, Lou, that's not much money. That's not much of risk. Well, let me ask you something. Nothing's a sure thing, right? But if you got a chance to, get your money back, go double or nothing or whatever, why not? And you're getting a little more for your bang, a hair more bang for your buck. You might be able to go plus 8 or 8.5 and may still get money line or maybe minus 105. But I'm keeping it right there to keep it positive money so I can get a little bit more out of my money. So I'm going to go with plus 7.5 and over 45.5 for my parlay on that one. The line is plus 1.5. And of course the over under is 51.5. So I'm going to buy it down for my 6-point teaser parlay lock. Kansas City plus 7.5 and over 45.5. So there you go. That is what I think. What do you think? Drop me a comment right now if you're watching. What would your bet be? Would you take Philadelphia? You can take them plus 5.5. It'd be, I think that's minus 105. So there you go. Either way, that's kind of what we're looking at right there. That's our Captain Lou 6-point teaser parlay lock of the week. We're going to end it out, like I said, 32-15 for the year. Not too BAD, I do say so myself. What's your favorite Super Bowl memory? What's your earliest Super Bowl that you can remember? I remember mine. It was with my dad watching it in our basement. It was this, I want to say it was Super Bowl VI. The one where Miami lost 24-3. And we watched it on a Sunday afternoon on a black and white TV. I think the kick was 1:00, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look it up. I know. All right, I'm going to take a quick look. I always get it mixed up, and I should have wrote it down. I get it. It was Dallas beat Miami 24-3. That's right, Super Bowl VI. I do remember that because Miami went on to win the next couple of years. But that's my earliest memory of a Super Bowl. I can remember watching it, And, my dad, I can remember asking, that you see that famous commercial, if you're a Lions fan, or that famous cartoon where you see the Lion King sitting there with his son or whatever. But, I can remember my dad getting pretty excited about it. I think I was 6 years old. Well, obviously I was 6 years old at the time, or 5, whatever it was. And, I was 6 because, again, I'm the same age as the Super Bowl. But that's my earliest recollection, watching it on a black and white TV. And I think, you didn't have the pomp and circumstance that you have now, obviously. And then of course it started to get a little bit later and later in the day as, the history of it went on. But yeah, it used to be 1:00 kick, and, Miami got throttled by Dallas in that game. And of course, then they went on to win their next 2 Super Bowls, including the perfect season. So that's my earliest recollection of the Super Bowl. I can remember when Dallas played Washington, or I'm sorry, when Washington played Buffalo in '92, I think it was. I won. I got this. I got this. I remember we had a pool, this college party, or not college. I was out of school by then, and we had a pool where we had you pick the score of the game, and you pick the score of the Bud Bowl, and I got them both right, and I won 2 real cool hats. I don't know. Those are cool memories that I had. So of some of the Super Bowls, I know our Super Bowl this week, we're going to have a big bash at our house. The toughest thing for me is I got to get up at 4:00 in the morning to go to work the next day, probably 3:30. We're going to probably have about 20 people over, chicken wings, chili, hot dogs, you name it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look, but that's kind of what we're doing. I don't normally do that, but that's what we're going to do this weekend. We're going to have some family down, and it's just going to be fun. I hope your Super Bowl is fun as well. I hope you get to enjoy the game. Be responsible, obviously. If you're going to partake, make sure you got a ride home. Just be safe about it and be smart, but have a lot of fun. So real quick before we talk about LeBron and then we'll end the show, what's your favorite prop bet? What are you thinking about? I looked at a lot of them, and I looked at, DraftKings, the app, and some of the prop bets they've got, and there's so many of them you could choose from. Super Bowl MVP, the quarterbacks are all there, plus 120, plus 125 with Mahomes and Hurts. But here's one I kind of looked at, and I know it's a long shot, but hey, you never know. And if he's healthy and he plays, because I'm picking Kansas City to win, I might put $1 just on Kadarius Toney to win $50. It's a 50-1 shot. I know it's a long shot, but if he gets a couple touchdowns, 100 yards, there you go. They might give it to 150 yards. You never know. 10 catches. That's the thing. It probably will be a quarterback. It might be Mahomes, but again, if somebody has a monster game, or if somebody has a pick six and a couple of sacks. But my favorite one, I like that 2-point conversion line. Basically, it's almost 2.5 to 1. So, it could come down to the end of the game. Somebody goes for 2 to cut it to a field goal. Let's say it's, 35-24 or 28-17, and Philadelphia scores. They got to go for 2 to cut it to a field goal. They make it. There you go. You win. So I'm definitely going to put a little bit of Gorgonzola on that 2-point conversion. And you never know if it hits, but I'd like that. I'd like that prop with the 2-point conversion. That's going to be that. I know that Kadarius Toney MVP bit is a long shot, but I wanted to throw that in there. That was interesting to me, but I really like those odds for that 2-point conversion. Plus 235, not too bad in my opinion. So, all right. We got a little bit left of the show tonight. Again, we appreciate you coming on the Captain Lou Extravaganza here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Next week, we've got a couple of shows. Again, our ACHA Power Play, and of course, another edition of the Extravaganza. So watch for the times we'll be on there. Again, the show will be downloaded wherever you can find a podcast tomorrow: iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcast, TuneIn, you name it. They're there. iHeartRadio, you name it. We're all over the place, courtesy of our friends at Belly Up Sports. Let's talk about LeBron. LeBron's the scoring king now. obviously, it was cool the way he did it, with the fadeaway jumper. I know all the talk was they wanted him to do the sky hook in homage to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And, LeBron, now that the talk is intensified, is he the GOAT? Everybody's favorite topic to discuss in the world of NBA basketball is LeBron the greatest. And it's funny is I think about it all the time. Oh, not all the time, but I think about it a lot whenever I hear this conversation. And to me, the only thing that I really, truly, deep down don't like about LeBron is he thinks that we have to get his opinion on everything. Now, I was talking, my brothers-in-law and a couple of friends of mine, we have a little group text chat that, we call ourselves the Sports Nuts. And we talk about it all the time, talk about different events and sports and whatnot. And this came up this morning. And I'm kind of early on, I thought that there's no doubt that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Even Kareem, I grew up watching him. LeBron, he's kind of in a no-win situation. And I'll tell you why. They want, folks want him to speak out on issues of the day, anything that's going on from George Floyd to everything. And they bashed Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods and, I know some of the other ones of the athletes because they would never take a stand or say anything. So LeBron comes along and he's gotten the torch. He is socially active. How he feels, whether you like it or not. And people bash him for that. And that, you can't have it both ways. I don't admonish him for that. Now, do I think I need to hear what he thinks about everything? No. About stuff with the Dallas Cowboys? No, I don't need to go to him to get his opinion on everything. Now, this right here, I'm going to bring this up real quick. He wants to go out of his way to tell you that he is the greatest of all time. He tells you that. You got Aaron Rodgers saying that he deserves to be praised and this and that. I kind of lump them together in that regard. But I think it's an insecurity issue. I look at it and I think he's always got to tell you that he's the greatest. He doesn't want you to forget that. And I guess I'm from the school where your actions speak for you on the field, on the court, on the ice, on the course, as far as that goes. People know you're the greatest or one of the best. And that's where I think people get turned off on. And this might be, it's a minor thing with me. I don't like when he always has to remind you that he's the greatest. He brought it up again last night, but then again, I think about it. That's why I just, I don't think he really does it maliciously. He's not arrogant. He's not like Muhammad Ali when he used to do it back in the 70s. He was almost cartoonish the way he did it. So I think that turns people off. And that's that part of it I'm kind of on the fence on, but you think about it deep down. LeBron's never gotten in trouble, with the law, abusing women or doing any of that. And, he's done a lot of good things, the charity work, the school in Akron, all of that. He's done a lot of good stuff. And the scoring record to me, I think is, I never thought it'd be beaten. I thought Kareem was going to keep it forever, or at least in my lifetime. LeBron's probably going to score 45,000 points. Everybody says, if he's healthy, he's going to get to 40. My goodness, he'll break 40 next year. And he's going to play until he can play with his son. So that's probably going to be at least 3 years. So that's 4,500 points right there, minimum. That'll put him at what, about 42,000? And that means someone's going to have to play 21, 22 years unless they totally quit playing defense in the NBA.
I know they're shying away from it right now, but this record is going to be one of those that it's going to break your spirit to get there. And, he's got it. And I'm going to go on record. I think he is the greatest of all time. He hasn't won as many titles as Michael, but he's been to the finals 10 times. Now, is he a true Laker? I don't think so. He's built his brand in LA. That's why he went there. I don't know what he is. I think deep down he's a Cavalier. That'll be interesting to see when he does retire. Where does he put, what ball cap or what jersey does he put in? Or does he just, not put one in there? I don't know if they do that in basketball like they do that in baseball and football. But is he one of the true Lakers of all time? No, I don't think he is. I think that's a disservice to Kareem, to Magic, to Jerry West, to Kobe, to Shaq. No. James Worthy. I don't think he's in that. I don't think he's in that class. But the greatest of all time, yes. Is he a top 5 Laker? No. I don't think so. He hasn't earned that yet. So it's kind of what I think on it, So congratulations though to LeBron. He's got the scoring title. God bless him. He can have it. No, I'm just kidding. It's a great career. And, as a lot of people have mentioned, he's still averaging 27, almost 30 points a game. It's not like he's averaging 8 points and he's stringing out a career where he's just trying to get that record. He's playing 14 minutes a game. They're going to need him if they want to do anything in the playoffs. And they lost the game too. So keep that in mind. They're not in the playoff hunt yet. So we'll have to wait and see what they do at the trade deadline tomorrow. And everybody's favorite person, Kyrie Irving. I just want to spend about 60 seconds on this one. Good luck, Dallas. There's another team that's going to be blown up in a year. Who knows if he's even going to be there next year? Why would they want this guy? Anybody who tells me the earth is flat, he's destroyed Cleveland. He didn't destroy Boston, but he set them back a ways. Now he's doing the same thing he did to Brooklyn. I think they got a good haul back, but they're not going to win a title now. Durant's probably going to leave. God, Dallas, what the hell were you thinking? The guy's worthless. He's not. It's all about him. Oh yeah, he'll say the right thing for about a month, and then when something doesn't go his way, he'll pout and he'll want out. Don't be surprised if you see him yet in a Lakers uniform one way or another. That's all I'm saying. Well, hey, that's going to do it for tonight. Again, let's go one more time. The Captain Lou 6-point teaser lock. There's our parlay lock for the big game, Super Bowl 57. I'm taking Kansas City plus 7.5 and the over, 45.5. What say you? Enjoy the game this weekend. 6 o'clock or 6:20 kickoff. Take a nap if you want to watch the whole game. I know I'm going to have to. Either that or I'll take a nap during the halftime show. I never watch those anyways. I couldn't care less who's playing in the halftime show. I've never been a fan, so I won't be watching. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the game. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for taking time out tonight to watch us. As always, I appreciate it. Check out the Captain Lou Sports Network. Check out all of our shows, our podcasts, whatever. And check out bellyupsports.com, our lineup of guests, our lineup of shows, and all our great articles by our wonderful writers. We got a great group of guys and gals, and we got a lot of good stuff yet to come. So make sure you check us out. That's bellyupsports.com. And of course, the Captain Lou Extravaganza on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. All right, everybody, enjoy the game. Thanks for joining us tonight. This reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Until next week, so long, everybody.